rock that Moses struck and God split in two is believed to have been found and is a perfect match with the biblical account.
All right, let's see it.
It is massive in size and sits upon a small hill. It's also located in a large valley where the Israelites could have camped and can be seen from a long distance away.
The biblical text mentions exactly none of these things.
It shows water grooves in it where massive amounts of water ran down from it.
So the grooves that this video is describing cannot have been caused by water coming out of that rock for at least two different reasons. The easier one to see is that those grooves cover that entire region, and the larger, higher hill next to it, they're all going in the same direction and they do not intersect at the rock. Second main reason is no amount of potable water coming out of that rock could have caused any such grooves right next to it. Those grooves can only be caused by debris being dragged over this granite by a glacial flow, because this hill is a glacial till. This is debris left from a glacial flow, and the rock is what is called a glacial erratic. A large rock that's kind of out of place with the rest of the rubble that gets deposited along with it. And if you look at this photo, you can see those striations, those grooves. You can kind of make them out running from the upper right to the lower left. That is where debris has been dragged across this by a glacier and has caused those grooves. Those grooves cannot have been caused by potable water coming out of that rock.
And you can see this rock and the water channels and grooves that were made when the water gushed out from it. Now God confirms this in Isaiah 28:21. It says, "They did not thirst when he led them through the deserts. He made the water flow out of the rock for them. He split the rock and the water gushed out." And this is exactly what we see here at this large, massive rock. Now
So the reference is actually Isaiah 48:21, and you have to go to Isaiah because neither the account in Exodus nor in Numbers says anything about the rock splitting, just says the water will come out. Now Isaiah 48 is talking about Judahites coming back from Babylon, and it's talking about provisioning them in the wilderness, and it's drawing from the traditions in Exodus and in Numbers, but also separate traditions in the Psalms. Psalm 78:15, for instance, does say he split, using the same verbs, the rocks, plural, in the wilderness so that they had water to drink. And then we also have Psalm 105:41, which says God opened the singular rock. So we have a variety of different tellings of this tradition, some of them much later than others. And what we have in Isaiah 48:21 is a post-exilic combination of several of these tellings. Now, nothing about this rock or any of its features or the features around it point in the direction of any kind of miraculous water flow. We've already seen that the grooves that are described as caused by the erosion of the water were actually from a glacier going one direction. And we have erosion going perpendicular to those grooves that is caused by flash flooding in the area. You can see in this satellite imagery that there is a dendritic kind of valley system where flash flooding is washing debris down, and it's ultimately going to open up into the Red Sea. Now, around the rock itself, the split was almost certainly caused by frost wedging. That's where water seeps into holes and cracks in rocks, freezes, expands, creates a split. The ice then melts, creeps further into those holes and cracks, freezes, expands, and expands that split. And this kind of thing happens all over the world. There are a number of rocks, very, very large rocks, that have been split, sometimes in perfectly straight ways, other times in curved ways, usually vertically though, because that's the direction gravity pulls the water. But that explains the split in this rock, and the erosion on the rock itself is caused by exfoliation, which is where the heating and the cooling of the rock is different on the surface as opposed to on the inside of the rock, and that creates a separation between the kind of skin of the rock and the inside of the rock. And so that erosion creates what we see on the rock itself, which is distinct from the erosion caused by flash flooding in the area, which is distinct from the grooves caused by the glacial flow much, much earlier in the area. So there's a natural explanation for everything going on here. None of it points in the direction of any kind of miraculous provisioning of water from this rock. If we put data over dogma and allow the data to operate on their own terms rather than subjugate and subordinate the data to the dogma, there's a perfectly natural explanation for all of this, and the data don't point in the direction of anything supernatural or of any miraculous provisioning of water at all.